China has issued a stern warning to the world. The message is clear: aligning with the United States in trade deals that harm China's interests will have consequences. Beijing has promised resolute and reciprocal countermeasures against any nation seen as siding with Washington in this manner. This warning, delivered by China's Ministry of Commerce, underscores the rising tensions in the global trade landscape. It is a clear indication that China will not stand idly by as the United States attempts to reshape global trade to its advantage. The warning comes amidst reports of U.S. pressure tactics aimed at reducing trade with China. The Wall Street Journal has revealed that the Trump administration is using tariff negotiations as leverage. Countries are being offered incentives, such as reductions in U.S. levies and trade barriers, in exchange for curbing their economic ties with China. This strategy highlights the United States' growing unease with China's economic ascendance and its determination to maintain its global dominance. The rivalry between the world's two largest economies is no longer confined to rhetoric. It is playing out in the real world, impacting global supply chains and creating uncertainty for businesses worldwide. The stakes are high, and the outcome of this economic standoff will have far-reaching consequences for the global order. The Trump administration's approach to trade, particularly with China, has been characterized by a reliance on tariffs and aggressive negotiation tactics. The goal is clear: to protect American jobs and industries from what the administration perceives as unfair Chinese trade practices. This strategy has led to a tit-for-tat trade war, with both sides imposing tariffs on billions of dollars worth of each other's goods. The United States has imposed tariffs on a wide range of Chinese imports, from electronics to machinery, driving up prices for consumers and businesses alike. These tariffs, intended to make Chinese goods less competitive, have had a mixed impact. While some U.S. industries have benefited from the protectionist measures, others have been hurt by higher input costs and retaliatory tariffs from China. The United States has also sought to leverage its economic influence to persuade other countries to reduce their reliance on China. This pressure campaign has included threats of tariffs and promises of preferential treatment for those who comply. However, this approach has had limited success, as many countries are reluctant to take sides in the U.S.-China trade dispute. In response to U.S. pressure, China has embarked on a diplomatic offensive to strengthen its ties with other countries and build a united front against what it views as U.S. protectionism. Beijing has been particularly active in engaging with developing countries, offering trade and investment opportunities as an alternative to reliance on the United States. Chinese President Xi Jinping has embarked on high-profile visits to Southeast Asian and African countries, emphasizing the importance of multilateralism and opposing unilateral actions in trade. These efforts are aimed at positioning China as a reliable partner for developing nations and a defender of free trade. China has also been actively promoting its Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project aimed at connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. The initiative, which has been met with skepticism by some Western countries, is seen by China as a way to boost trade and economic cooperation with countries along its ancient trade routes. Section 4. The Middle Kingdom's Trade Supremacy. China's economic rise over the past few decades has been nothing short of remarkable. The country has transformed itself from a largely agrarian economy into a global manufacturing powerhouse and the world's second-largest economy. This transformation has been fueled by a combination of factors, including a vast and increasingly skilled labor force, government support for key industries, and a relentless focus on export-led growth. Today, China is the world's largest trading nation, accounting for a significant portion of global trade. It is the largest trading partner for numerous countries around the world, exporting everything from smartphones and computers to clothing and toys. This dominance in global trade gives China significant leverage in its dealings with other countries, including the U.S. China's economic clout extends beyond its manufacturing prowess. The country is also a major investor in infrastructure projects around the world, providing much-needed capital for developing countries. This investment, coupled with its growing trade ties, has cemented China's position as a major player in the global economy. Section 5. The trade war rages on. Despite ongoing negotiations, the trade war between the U.S. and China shows no signs of abating. In fact, the conflict has escalated in recent months, with both sides imposing additional tariffs on each other's goods. This escalation has rattled global markets and raised concerns about the potential for a full-blown trade war. The Trump administration has accused China of unfair trade practices, including intellectual property theft and forced technology transfer. It has also expressed concerns about China's growing trade surplus with the U.S. In response, China has denied these allegations and accused the U.S. of protectionism. The ongoing trade war has had a negative impact on both economies, slowing growth and disrupting supply chains. Businesses on both sides of the Pacific have been forced to adjust to the uncertainty, with some companies relocating production or seeking alternative suppliers. Section 6. Doubts linger over U.S. strategy. While the Trump administration's tough stance on China has resonated with some segments of the U.S. population, experts are divided on the effectiveness of its approach. Some argue that the tariffs are necessary to force China to change its behavior, while others contend that they are counterproductive and harmful to the U.S. economy. Critics of the Trump administration's trade policy argue that tariffs are a blunt instrument that often hurt American consumers and businesses more than they help. They also point out that the tariffs have done little to reduce the U.S. trade deficit with China, which has actually increased since the trade war began. There are also concerns that the U.S.'s go-it-alone approach to trade could backfire. By alienating its allies and engaging in unilateral action, the U.S. risks weakening its own position in the global trading system. This could ultimately benefit China, which has been actively working to strengthen its ties with other countries. Section 7. A New World Trade Order. The ongoing trade tensions between the U.S. and China are symptomatic of a broader shift in the global power balance. China's economic rise has challenged the U.S.'s long-standing dominance, leading to increased competition and friction between the two countries. This competition is playing out on multiple fronts, including trade, technology, and geopolitics. The outcome of this rivalry will have profound consequences for the global order. If the U.S. and China are unable to find a way to coexist peacefully and manage their differences, the world could be headed for a period of increased instability and conflict. On the other hand, if the two countries can find a way to cooperate, they have the potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges. The future of the global trading system hangs in the balance. The rules-based system that has governed international trade for decades is under strain, as are the institutions that uphold it. The U.S., once a staunch defender of free trade, has embraced protectionist policies, while China is positioning itself as a champion of globalization. The world is watching closely to see which path these two economic giants will choose.